By 1900, the whole of Africa had been colonized, except for Ethiopia. This was a big shame to Africa, and it was all due to the political fragmentation of Africa in small kingdoms and chiefdoms. Some of the traditional leaders tried to fight to preserve their independence. They were, however, not coordinated, and they were defeated one by one. Taking Uganda as an example, our society at that time was a pre-capitalist, mainly non-money one, using barter trade, and comprised of three social classes: the feudalists, the artisans, and the peasants. By 1962, at independence, this pre-capitalist economy and society had somewhat metamorphosed into a typical enclave colonial economy with a small island of modernity that had entered the money economy, surrounded by a sea of backward subsistence economic activities that only catered for food and no cash. The small monetary enclave economy left by the British was described as the economy of the 3 C's and the 3 T's. The 3 C's being coffee, cotton, and copper, and the 3 T's being tobacco, tea, and tourism. This little enclave was growing well. In 1969, it grew at the rate of 11%. When the illiterate Idi Amin came in 1971, the small enclave collapsed almost completely. By 1986, 16 years after the onset of the Idi Amin regime, 2 of the 3 C's, cotton and copper, had disappeared, and 2 of the 3 T's, tourism and tea, had either disappeared or radically shrunk. Tea exports had gone from 23 million kilograms in 1969 to only 3 million kilograms. Hence, it was only coffee and tobacco that were still limping on. With the clear-headed ideology of the NRM, we had correctly diagnosed the problem of Uganda. Philosophically and strategically, the main mistake was to emphasize identity, religion, tribe, and gender chauvinism, instead of emphasizing interests such as markets where you sell your products, security, infrastructure, etc. Accordingly, we distilled the 4 principles of NRM. Number 1, patriotism, loving Uganda and rejecting sectarianism of religion or tribe, as well as gender chauvinism. This is, among other reasons, to ensure that the united market of Uganda is available for our producers without any hindrances such as multiple taxation by the different local governments. 2, realizing that the internal market of Uganda is not enough if we are to support our producers of goods and services. We saw that Pan-Africanism was a necessity for the prosperity of our society. 3, Ugandans could not, however, benefit fully from the Ugandan market, the African market, or indeed the global market, unless they underwent socio-economic transformation, changing from the pre-capitalist traditional culture of only working for the stomach or engaging in an economic, colonially demanded cash crops to producing remunerative products and services that are market-driven. While joining the money economy is one of the stimuli for socio-economic transformation, we cannot also forget the other one, the development of the human resource through education and improved health. The fourth principle of the of NRM's diagnosis and prescription for Ugandan society is democracy. The Ugandans had not known democracy during the time of the pre-colonial kings and chiefs. They had not known democracy during the time of colonialism and during much of the post-colonial time, except for the 4 years between 1962 and 1966. That is how and why we designed a most elaborate democratic structure involving 96,860 elective positions in the whole country. In Parliament, we have got 353 directly elective constituencies, open to all Ugandans that have advanced level education and are above the age of 18 years old. On account of the reasons of our culture, out of this number, only a small number of women always make it through this law of the survival of the fittest. In the outgoing parliament, such women, the women who can knock down men, were only 19. And in the coming parliament, such women, the ones who can knock down men, are only 14. At independence in 1962, out of a parliament of 92 members of parliament, only 2 were women. Florence Arsulvega and Shugura Vizeram, an Indian lady. It is on account of this structural marginalization of some sectors of our society that we added special seats for women, one per district, youth, 1 per region, disabled, 1 per region, workers, 5, the Liberation Army, UPDF, 10, and recently 5 for the older persons, those above 65 years, 1 per region. I doubt very much that there are many comparable pro-people democratic structures in the world. These people are sitting here. They are not a story. They are human beings. They are all here. It is therefore quite comic and laughable to hear of some actors in the world giving us lectures about democracy. You give me a lecture about democracy? What are your own credentials? We designed this system not from the air-conditioned rooms, but from the jungles of our country, where we lived with the people in their hearts in those days for much of the 16 years of the resistance, 1971 to 1986. If you discount the student years where again we interacted closely with the masses. What is needed is to expunge the corruption of the use of money that has been creeping in, brought in by the opportunist careerists looking for jobs and not for service. It is quite laughable to try to give lectures about democracy to architects of such a system. We built this system for our people. We neither seek nor need any approbation from anybody outside Uganda, except our peers in the African Union and NEPAD, to whom we are linked by African brotherhood, solidarity, and shared values based on mutual respect. We can also share our experience with those beyond the African shores on the basis of mutual respect. If you want to know what we are doing in a respectful way, we can share with you, but no lectures.